Merlin Theodosia Susares from the La Salle University, Philippines, to our webinar today. In this webinar series, we are hosted by the APSCE Development of Information and Communication Technology in the Asia Pacific Neighborhood, the APSCE. So today, Professor Merlin will have a talk in the title Digital Transformation of Higher Education Challenge and Insights. Professor Merlin, she has conducted research including using artificial intelligence for emotion and behavior analysis, and in developing technologies to support active aging, including social media and organizations transformation technologies. Okay, please welcome Professor Merlin for today's talk.
Thank you very much, Dr. Pacharin, for that kind introduction. Good morning, everyone, and I would like to thank you for having me in this presentation today. I'm happy to share my insights on digital transformation and would like to thank the organizers again for the webinar. Today, I'll talk about challenges and insights about why and how universities use technology to deliver learning experiences to students. I will share things that are familiar to all of us, having worked in the university. But I also hope that today I will have some string to tie all of these things into a nice narrative, which hopefully is logical and also insightful for everyone. This is not meant to be exhaustive, but a gentle springboard into studies about digital transformation. I hope that today you will take that dive and leave the session not only with insights, but also questions. This slide is what I call the tale of disappearing university offices. The pandemic threw all of us into faceless transactions in the university. Our students do not see the cashiers when paying for the tuition fees. They communicated via email to their academic advisors and participated in club activities via Zoom or Microsoft Teams. We were all virtual creatures in hundreds of webinars that we joined. The huge progress in the field of AI and human-machine interactions show the potential of continuing towards this path by having chatbots guide students where to find materials in online libraries, give detailed information about enrollment procedures and deadlines, and links to additional learning materials for a course. The question to all of us is, will we take its hand? Allow me to very briefly take all of us back to pre-2020 when the term VUCA was the buzz in academic circles. Volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world we said our graduates will need to face after graduation. Little did we know VUCA was just around the corner for all of us. This was marked by mostly face-to-face classes, fully on-site support operations, and extra and co-curricular activities held on and off-site for our students. We know that all face-to-face sessions disappeared during the pandemic, with most universities maintaining skeletal workforces on-site. The question is, how do we imagine post-2023 to be? Have we resumed conducting all face-to-face classes? Has the university dropped online payment facilities for tuition and fees? Has it ceased processing alumni documents online? Can we follow up our transactions via tickets like it used to be during the pandemic? Now is the time to ask, how should post-2023 university look like? Do we return pre-2020 or take our lessons from the pandemic and paint a different picture of post-2023? At this point, our students are a different breed because they have experienced a year or so of online learning and assessments. On the right side of my slides, you will see some questions that I want you to answer. You may take down notes and so on, but really you do not need to share. This is really meant to just trigger your thought process, recalling what software and technologies you used during this period, what were your difficulties or your colleagues' difficulties, and what were the interventions that were given to you. And lastly, are you still using all of these tools currently? The answer, I think, is Education 4.0 and University 4.0 as it is called in literature. Education 4.0 is characterized by personalized learning, the use of AI-enabled tools, and data-savvy problem solvers as our graduates. Compare this with Education 2.0, where we were focusing on digitizing content and creating courseware and digitization of our learning materials. Education 3.0, on the other hand, was when the internet became the source of all information and both teacher and students relied on readily available content. The needed skill was to learn to sift through volumes of sometimes inaccurate information, which is very different
First
from
of all,
education.
Lynn, may I
Yes,
interrupt you for a while?
yes,
Could
yes.
you show your slide presentation? Because we couldn't see your slide
Ah,
presentation.
okay. Wait a moment. So sorry.
No problem. Okay, right now we can see your slide presentation.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for
You
reminding me
feel
of that.
free.
I was too excited to talk. All right. So this slide is this is the tale of the disappearing offices, where you have all these people which we interacted with before and now seemingly we did not interact with them as much, and the offer of technology to us, which is what? To allow chatbots, for example, to help us with all of our content and to guide us in the library and to help us with all our enrollment questions and so on. All right. Then we have the pre-2020 situation and of course the pandemic situation. We are all very familiar. We're talking about VUCA, but then again, it seems that we were the ones VUCA'd because we were really surprised with the happenings of what happened during the pandemic. And the question is this one: post 2023, what do we do? Do we go back to our practices of pre-2020, or do we take the best practices and lessons from the pandemic and move on to post-2023, even moving forward with it? So as I said, these are the questions I was referring to for all of you. If you want to take a look at it, you may take down notes or just really think about it again, just to trigger your thought process. What happened to me during those times? What technologies did I use? Were there interventions from the university to help me? How were we helped? And are you still using these tools? Okay, so the answer, I think, is Education 4.0 and University 4.0. So I was comparing what Education 4.0 was versus Education 2.0. In Education 4.0, we will expect personalized learning, customizable content, and adaptive content to our students, where we and them will be using AI-enabled tools, and they are going to be data-savvy problem solvers, quite adept with looking at a lot of information, cleaning it out, looking at and generating insights. Compare that with Education 2.0, when we were developing coursewares, we were digitizing our learning materials. If you recall, that far back in our careers as teachers. And then compared with Education 3.0, when we were really looking at content from the internet, both students and teachers, because our skill was to have to learn through sift all of this information and find the most appropriate one based on the student's needs. The defining factor for Education 4.0 was the projected physical, virtual, AI-enabled world of employment we are preparing our students for. In the workplace, they will need to judge the quality of information and how to use this information. They'll be solution providers, and their responsibilities at work is flexible. There will be a very fine line delineating careers, and job postings will not indicate a graduate of, but possess the skill of. Because of this, Education 4.0 also supports micro-credentialing, short courses to help upskill its alumni and the workforce in general. On the right side, there are another set of questions. I would like to know, has your university deployed smart learning environments? Has it updated the learning approach to build skills for lifelong learning? And do we as teachers have the skills to personalize our students' learning? What is Education 4.0 versus University 4.0? I see Education 4.0 as a subset of University 4.0, which is defined as industry and faculty, personalized learning, seamless data sharing, investment in technology, and fee-based funding models. It is going to be characterized by deeper engagement between industry and faculty to ensure that graduates have the skill necessary in the workplace. It means internship programs should be front and center, and we should make sure the curriculum prepares the students for the skills, not only the content. Personalized learning means adaptive content being provided to students based on their performance and experience. Seamless data sharing means that data between offices are easily accessible with access controls and supported by cloud technology. Of course, universities will need to invest in technology and with fee-based funding model for courses and research. I posit that digital transformation will help implement University 4.0. To make digital transformation more concrete, let us take a look at 3 examples. Most digital transformation initiatives are creative, practical, and simple. We have all heard about Airbnb being the largest hotel chain which does not own a single room. It has revolutionized the hotel business by providing flexibility to us as tourists. Do we want a house, an apartment, a room in a house, a mountain lodge? Where do you wish to be? Do you wish to be in the city center or do you wish to be outskirts of the city? It also added the service of providing experiences by making tour arrangements and suggesting activities for its guests. Audi is a well-known German brand of cars. From traditional cars, it has ventured now into electric cars as most other car manufacturers are doing. The innovation, though, comes from it adding a service. From a seller, it has also now become a service provider. It offers Audi on demand, allowing customers to rent an Audi car via a mobile app. It also offers Audi at home, where luxury residents can choose from a pool of cars via an app. It also offers Audi shared fleet, where an employee can book a car and charge it to the employer on a pay-per-use basis. A very lucky employee to be driving around in an Audi, right? So Audi is a car manufacturer which has also now ventured into transport services. Maybe now it is not only a car manufacturer, but a human transporter. Lastly, Uber is very familiar to all of us. It provides services to its clients without owning a single car like the Airbnb model, and now has ventured into tapping a new customer base, Uber Business. It provides transportation and meal services, delivery services, and so on for any business. Note that Uber Business is built on top of already existing product, which is the retail personal Uber, which means only incremental improvements are needed to lead to a new customer base. Grab is also doing the same model, offering discounts for meal delivery if one has a business profile. At this point, it is important to differentiate between what I call the 3Ds: digitization, digitalization, and digital transformation. Digitization is converting content into digital form, like when we take a photo of our course notes. Digitalization is when we use OCR to convert the photo of the notes into digital text. And digital transformation is when we pull together this large collection of course notes to generate insight about what students learned during one learning session. On the right, you will see many definitions of digital transformation from the review of Bisri et al. The reference is found in the bottom of the slide. There are many definitions. What Bisri did was to select those from the definitions that are closest to higher education. But just the same, it seems like these definitions are missing important components, specifically those that relate to adding high value to all stakeholders and creating strategic business models. Therefore, I used another definition from Fernandez et al., which I will show you later, the process of which is defining digital transformation as the process of creating a new strategic business model for the organization using the latest digital technologies, adding high value for all customers. Guess what? The most important keyword is not latest digital technology, but those of strategic business model and adding high value for all stakeholders. The digital technology comes last after having formed insights about the business model and identifying the high value for the stakeholders. We pause and ask, why do universities want to pursue transformation or digital transformation? Because it seems to be more comfortable for them not to do so anymore, because it is very challenging. But it has to do so because it has to stay relevant in a very tight, highly competitive education space. They also see it as a means to accomplish their mission in today's technology immersed world. And lastly, use it as a differentiating factor versus other universities. On the right side, you see the impact areas of digital transformation, which are as follows: society, business, organization, and the learning process. Universities see digital transformation to impact society by allowing more people to pursue a college degree and to improve quality of education. From a business perspective, it hopes to gain new customers by increasing their reach and a wide range of offerings, from short courses, micro-credentials, degree programs, and certifications, and create new business models. From an organizational perspective, they expect that digital transformation will improve the productivity of its staff, provide greater transparency because they can make data-driven decisions and justify these decisions. Lastly, student-centered approach will be easier to implement if we have University 4.0 and transformation, leading to improved student performance. On the right side of the slide, you have a question. Has a university implemented digitalization initiatives towards digital transformation, specifically business analytics, learning management systems, online chatbots, AR, augmented reality and virtual reality technologies, and campus-wide IoT? There are three approaches to digital transformation, which are as follows: the service-first transformation, which is offering an online degree. The second is operation-first transformation, which is doing analytics on student admissions data, and a combination or a hybrid approach, which is to conduct analytics on utility expenses, which has an effect on the schedule of classes, which is service delivery. The strategy for IT at Harvard is found on the right. There are 18 people from the CIO Council that formulated this strategy, and it is you find it in three clusters: the academic tools and AV technology, research computing, information security, and data privacy. So of these three components for the strategy at Harvard, we notice several things. It contains a discussion and focus on technology and management for vendor management. It has elements that relate to governance and IT policies. and more importantly, also includes information security and data privacy as part of its strategy. I mentioned these three and really point it out because we think that IT strategy is more about technology when it also has to be broader in perspective, particularly governance and the drafting of policies, and also information security in light of cybersecurity attacks on all of us, whether as members of a university or as a consumer. The path to digital transformation begins by taking a look at a framework. So MD4U is a proposed digital maturity model for universities. The author of this paper, Molina Carmona, likened digital transformation as digital maturity because digital transformation really doesn't stop. It's a process. So it is prudent to take a look at it from a maturity model perspective. Digital transformation is viewed as digital maturity, that is, the ability to respond to emerging digital and competitive environment in an appropriate manner. There are 4 diagrams that you see. Those on top, figure 6 and figure 8, are similar, but figure 8 tells us the route to digital transformation. As decision makers, we may be conservative, innovative, or transformative. For example, you achieve digital transformation when you have a transforming strategy to provide high value. You may be classified as conservative because you have conservative strategy and low value. You also have innovation where you have conservative strategy and high value. Of course, we all wish that we will be able to do high value and high strategy. But it may be said that maybe we don't become transformative right away. Maybe it is also a process where we begin from being conservative to innovative and then from innovative to being transformative. The 2 diagrams below that, figure 9 and figure 10, show the distribution of IT maturity in an example university where the angle or the value for each quadrant show you the amount of attention academic leadership gives to digital management, digital innovation, digital transformation, and digital governance. The ideal one is shown in figure 10, where 50% of attention is given to management of everyday operations, 20% is given to digital innovation, 20% ensuring the policies of digital governance are drafted, updated, and followed, and 10% for digital transformation, which is out-of-the-box thinking for the leadership. I would think that most of us maybe are in figure 9 where we do mostly digital management 70% of the time, digital innovation 20% of the time, 8% of the time focusing on digital governance, and 2% of the time doing digital transformation. This seems to be the comfortable mode of operation for conservative universities, but it will take a nudge to transition from being conservative to transformative by doing 50, 20, 20, and 10. The work of Fernandez identified digital transformation initiatives from 39 universities using the framework of Molina Carmona, which is MD4U. There were 7 identified IT-related challenges, which you find on the left side of the slide. It has to extend digital skills and culture among university community, optimize information security and maintain business continuity, be competitive thanks to the high quality of services, offer high quality and competitive education, satisfy emergent demands of customers, have information and knowledge for optimal decision making, and achieve the strategic objectives of the university. On the right side, you will find the distribution of the 184 data transformation initiatives found in universities grouped by the 7 challenges on the left. All right. So the 7 challenges were validated by a group of university administrators composed of presidents and vice presidents to ensure that these are meaningful and relevant to their needs. So of the 7, we see that those that have the highest number of digital transformation initiatives or programs is number 4, which is to offer high quality and competitive education, followed by competitive to be competitive thanks to the high quality of services, and then to optimize information security and maintain business continuity. Okay, these are the findings. These are the findings of that work. 23% of universities have a digital strategy as they implement the DTIs or the initiatives, while 73% have no digital strategy. So we can imagine that probably the 73 other universities have, the 73% of these universities probably have a knee-jerk reaction to the situation because it will appear that these were initiatives taken during the COVID pandemic because the paper was published in 2023. Second, 44% of the initiatives are implemented with an IT plan, and 56% were isolated initiatives that do not affect the whole organization. If there's no IT plan and it was not implemented based or supported by an IT plan, we cannot really measure its impact to the organization because it was not a really planned effort. Finding number 3, 6% of DTIs aim to address the challenge to address the university's mission focused on knowledge and problem solving, technology, and a broader student base. So 45% aims to deliver higher quality education by ensuring that these meet the needs of society and the context of their locale. 36% to ensure that technology is delivered to ensure that there's high quality experience of education for the students. Finding number 4, 25% of initiatives are toward offering high quality and competitive education via lifelong learning, industry collaboration into learning processes, integrate work experience into curriculum, and offering online learning. This fourth finding supports the fact that University 4.0 is going to be driven by industry and academe relationships. And so these were the initiatives that they took. What happened was, first, they offered lifelong learning. Next, they expanded industry collaboration to their learning processes, together with integrating work experiences into the curriculum. I can imagine this, that the industry representatives will be sometimes giving talks to the students, being more involved in curriculum development, doing accepting OJT students, and so on. The fifth finding states that 17% of initiatives focus on delivering high-quality services by providing shared data and services. 52% is focused on using cloud technology for shared data and services, mainly because of the work from home arrangement. I would like to think that this was a push because all data needs to be available to anybody at any point in time, together with services to process such data. Finding number 6, 16% of DTIs focus on optimizing information security and maintaining business continuity by training staff on policies and procedures and defining new policies about security. Let's take off from finding number 5. It makes it understandable that because now all employees are going to be using cloud services and data is everything on the cloud, they need to make sure that these accounts are secure, that all their staff, for example, implement two-factor authentication, that they all understand about phishing and cybersecurity threats, and so on. So it's a logical follow from finding number 5. If you take a look What they did was to train staff on changing data storage policies and procedures. Whatever governance change they made because they subscribe to cloud technology. And also they defined policies for information security, again, to make sure that they are not vulnerable to attacks from cyber criminals. Finding number 7, 14% of initiatives address the challenge to have information and knowledge for optimal decision making by having solutions to collect, report, and analyze data from different sources. This is where analytics already come in, as our administrators appreciate already how the data can be processed automatically, given that there's a new way to actually collect and report the data that they have already invested in. I say it's an investment because it is not cheap to actually, subscribe to all of these services. It takes a lot of resources, and they're taking advantage of that by ensuring that it's going to be fed back into their operations. 77% of the initiatives offer solutions to collect, report, and analyze data from different sources. Finding number 8, 12% of DTIs address the challenge to improve student experience. So there's a 44% of these is to increase and simplify the students' interaction with staff and coaches. Because of the faceless transactions, they had to create a means for the mentors and the coaches to be able to easily interact with the students, to be properly guided. There's also the deployment of online communities for the students to engage in as they are in the pandemic situation. Finding number 9, only 9% focus on extending the digital skills and culture among the university community, and they do this by training. All right. Now, the digital literacy of all members of the university is very important in doing transformation. And in fact, later on, I'll talk to you about it. It's one of the primary blockage why an initiative would fail. It's because maybe the people in the organization do not wish to use a new system anymore because they're used to doing things their way. And so it becomes a challenge. As point of inquiry, again, just a checkpoint, did your university continue its own DTIs during the pandemic right now? Are you still using those systems or not? Now that we know about the initiatives, we want to know what technologies were used by the 39 universities in 82 DTIs. But you said there are 184 initiatives. Why are there only 82 in this graph? It's because only 82 reported the technology that they used. So, of the 82 initiatives, 23% of them used analytics, 20% used cloud technologies, and 16% used AI. There's a list. We'll just go through the others very quickly. There are robots, open badges for gamification, IoT services, blockchain, maybe for diplomas, digital learning environments, virtual assistants and chatbots, virtual reality technologies, and MOOCs. But the most popular will be analytics, cloud, and artificial intelligence. How were they used? Analytics was used primarily to understand the progress of students in their learning experience, and advice was given to students and to staff regarding performance. And the same insights were given to decision makers like maybe department chairs and deans and academic leaders to maybe pivot or change some policies in relation to the performance of students. The cloud was used to integrate data and services in one secure place to support data sharing, as we have already indicated. And AI is for the personalization of student experience. So analytics was used for the group of students, and AI was used for individualized adaptation for each student. So here are the challenges and proposed solutions to digital transformation. There are 4 more rows to this table. So again, the reference is found at the bottom. But I chose to focus on these three because they are most important to us as teachers. And the first one is the most crucial to a successful digital transformation effort. The first is human resistance to change. As I've already indicated earlier, it is difficult to explain why do you have to change what I'm doing. I've been doing this for 10 years and I'm fine. I'm comfortable. I have output. Why do you need to change? It takes leadership and a lot of patient explanation to the community to explain why they have to go through the pain of digital transformation. The solution that's proposed in literature is to motivate them to promote a vision of digital maturity, to pilot projects, which means that do not go one time, big time. Start with small things which they can appreciate the low-hanging fruits so that it will reduce faculty doubts and fear regarding job security because foremost, aside from them being taken out of their comfort zone, is the fact that they may be replaced, which means that I'm not gonna have a job after I learn that new system of yours. Educating educational professionals about the benefits of technology and reducing job insecurity, the teachers will not get replaced. That stakeholders have a plan to provide assurance to protect privacy and security of both teacher and student data because we know when we do digital transformation, we are putting out our information out there in the cloud. It's digital. If it gets hacked, all my information will be susceptible to anyone. And so there has to be some communication from administration how to address these kinds of threats or fears. I'll move on to digital capabilities. Since most of the present day students are digital natives, teachers need to be more imaginative and inventive in their digital teaching skills. It's very difficult to have to shift also how to teach online when you've been doing it like you're the star of your classroom for the last 10 years. So due to generational differences between students and faculty in adopting technology, there's a need for policies that support infrastructure and creative learning arrangements to address these changing trends in expertise. Our problems, mostly from my university, stem from having to make sure we do genuine assessments. It's difficult to give exams that are online. It's very difficult to grade group projects because you really don't know who did what and what's the contribution of each one. So it's very difficult to do that. And that's part of ensuring that we have the digital capabilities to deliver University 4.0. Pedagogical innovation refers to where a digital teaching culture must be developed. I think for the most part, what all of us did was to go online and talk using our old slides. I am sure that there's a lot more creative ways to actually engage students in teaching them online. And that's a challenge for all of us teachers. So what have we learned so far? We know what digital transformation is, and we know what digital maturity is as perspective to digital transformation. We've identified the impact of digital transformation. We know the 50-20-20-10 rule to achieve digital transformation. We have identified the top initiatives that have been called in literature, and we know that the emerging technologies used are analytics, cloud technologies, and then AI for individual analysis. Is this true for your university as well? Something for you to think about. Now we go to insights and reflections on academic leadership. Are our leaders ready to let go of traditional university management practices that they have been so used to and think out of the box to transform the university? Like Audi, as a car manufacturer, was it ready to have to shift to being a transporter of humans in the bigger light of things? Are our university leaders ready to do that? On setting goals, it is difficult to calibrate what is too ambitious and what is too safe. maybe what is ambitious for one is too safe for another, because universities are very different, their size and population is different, financial capabilities are all very different, their mission is all very different. So how do we set goals in doing digital transformation? On staff skills, are our academic staff ready to learn new assessment methods, design learning experiences, and focus on the monitoring of learning outcomes rather than content-based teaching? Are we actually measuring the outcomes, or are we measuring content when we do our assessments? Are our support staff ready to learn new methods to file reports, access data, learn and follow best information security and data privacy practices? These all need to be answered. The failure rate is high. 70% of digital transformation initiatives fail. It is therefore important to ensure that the leadership takes careful steps, small steps, target low-hanging fruits in a small scope to make sure that it can control the failure. On digital maturity, while a digital maturity model for digital transformation of higher education is needed to guide universities in its pursuit of digital transformation, it should include governance, strategy, management, and innovation as discussed by Molina Carmona, together with focus on ethics, especially on the use of AI tools, cybersecurity, and threats for different classifications of universities. So this digital maturity model do not yet exist, or if it exists, is very young. It's in its infancy. It needs to be tested and evaluated and revised and refined so that universities are guided how to use it and in their journey. On the cost, are universities prepared to shoulder the cost of University 4.0, because it will require a huge IT investment? And again, it is more than technology. It is not about implementation to support university targets. It will require rethinking of our university's mission and goals, governance and policies before we even think about what technology to use. I go back to the disappearing university offices photo and would like to say that one of the impact of digital transformation is offloading a lot of tasks to technology. And if we can offload those tasks to technology, leaves us more time to mentor our students, spend more time with them asking about how they are, spending more time with research colleagues to brainstorm and think. It doesn't really mean taking away humanity, nor does it mean taking away engagement. In fact, it may mean more engagement if we know how to use it the proper way. It is really up to us. So thank you for your time, and that ends my presentation.
Thank you very much, Professor Merlin, for your presentation. So it's time for Q&A questions. It's time for Q&A session. Your talk is really insightful about the digital transformations. I see a lot of challenge and how could we implement the digital into our classroom. I think this is how to say, is very important for teachers, educators, that to think about how to implement or how to use the digital in their classroom to support or facilitate student learning.
Especially that as teachers, it will really take a lot from us, because we're a really big cog in that whole set of gears. If we cannot deliver the learning experience, then it will be difficult both for the university and the students to have to continue this dream of physical virtual presence, both in the university and also where we work. Oh, there's also one thing that I didn't include because I felt it's going to be information overload for everyone. There's a framework that I found for using AI in digital transformation, where they put AI in all the processes of the university. I can share it with, if there's some people who want a copy of the paper, I can share it to them.
Yes. So right now, AI and generative AI tools is rapid growth in our learning system. Mhm. So I think much important than that, like how the teacher use AI and how the teacher use generative AI tools in their classroom. So, do you have any idea to share with us about maybe some your experience or some literatures or that tell us about the appropriate for using AI or generative AI tools in the classroom?
Yes, so when I was preparing the presentation, so I was reading about University 4.0 and our objective, of preparing our students to be able to work outside where there are a lot of AI tools that they have to use. And there's hesitation to allow students to use ChatGPT, for example, or other tools. It's very controversial. But my position really is not to not to look at it as the enemy, but to take a look at how it can benefit me as a teacher and how it will benefit my students. Because if outside they'll need to learn how to use similar tools anyway, why should I prevent them from using it if I'm preparing them for that? That's number one. Number two, uh, it is possible, for example, for me to generate maybe an essay that's coming from ChatGPT and
Mhm.
then ask my students to critique it, knowing that there are many loopholes, for example, in that essay. So it's an automatic exam generator. You see?
Yeah.
So we can do this automatic. We can produce many, many different sets of questions, for example, for our students. And then uh, that's one way to do it. That is one way it will help us to create all of these assessment contents, that we could not do. I mean, I cannot write an incorrect essay for 40 of my students and have to do 3 4 sets of that, right? But if you can ask ChatGPT to do that, then ChatGPT is helping me to create all of these. And then another one maybe, and there are findings already in industry that it has increased productivity of workers, that some content is provided by the student. So maybe you have an assignment and then some content is created by the student already, then gives it to ChatGPT. ChatGPT does something with it, and then it's returned to the student. And now the student doesn't have to bother too much with the nitty-gritty of maybe of some details or some grammar, but the student can now take a look at higher order learning in taking a look at the output of ChatGPT for his assignment. Now, what's the remark? A remark should be that the student say how technology was used. What was the output of the technology? What did he do to produce the final output? Because then you can differentiate the amount of work that has been done. So I think as a teacher, I'm just really concerned about the thought process. What was the thought process? Did he think? Did he learn? Was there
Yeah.
new knowledge created? If that happens, then there's learning, right? Which
Mhm.
goes to say, maybe that's why we should rethink our whole concept of assessments and learning and thinking. What do we really want? Do we want a 100% score in a multiple choice exam to mean this student has learned well? Or does the thinking process that stumbled once in a while in an essay also means new knowledge was created? Where was new knowledge created? And where was it evident? So I suppose it takes a lot of discussion from teachers and from
Yes.
teachers like us, because we have a lot of differing opinions, and we can learn a lot from each other in discussing these types of
Yeah.
dilemmas,
Yeah.
dilemmas, if I
Yes.
may call it.
Yeah.
I
I
am not
agree.
sure if the universities have also, if all universities have already also put out guidelines
Mhm.
on the use of AI in the classroom. So that's another governance and policy issue.
So how about Philippines right now about the trend of AI or generative AI tools?
There
How
are
you see
some,
it? Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
there are some that allow, but there are also some who say no. Yes, and even in the US,
Mhm.
there's a divide. There's a divide among people who allow to use it and not use it. But usually, if they allow to use it, there's a declaration of how they used it and
Mhm.
for what purpose. And so for as long as the parameters are declared and they're transparent, then I suppose teachers allow them to use it.
Yes, I think we can use it as a tool for assist us for student for learning and helping
Yes.
us to reduce our somehow of working load. I think, and we can
Yes.
use it like to encourage the student learning during the
Yes.
classroom. Okay, so yeah, the questions from the floors or in the panelists or from the attendees, you can chat. Uh, you can
Ah,
some chat, and you can use the chat box, or you can use the Q&A question, Q&A button to put some question or put some information that you want to share with Professor Merlin. Waiting for questions from the floors. Maybe Professor Merlin, what do you think about if uh, the teachers could the teacher who not believe in digital digital
yeah.
yes, because when I have like a teach with my student. My student is like a pre-service student or student teachers, and they need to go to be a teacher in the futures. And uh, when they are in the internship student with some school, maybe some school may not believe in technology, and but some school believe in the technologies. So
Yes.
we have any idea to convince them to use the digital material or digital tools
Yeah.
in the schools?
Uh, if it's the school that we
Yes.
want to convince, then maybe we can show them the possibilities for digital technologies, like for example being able to offer online courses, being able to internationalize the program by having international teachers come in, and all these figure in quality assurance, right?
Yes.
This gets scores in quality assurance. So
Yes.
I think that's the best way to actually convince the institution.
Yes.
But the teachers in the Philippines, there's such a thing as academic freedom, and what happens in the classroom is really the domain of the teacher. So we cannot force it. So
Yes.
we will need to gently convince them, gently convince them.
Yes. We just show them how it can use and how it is, right? Just show them.
Yes, that's
Yes,
right.
I agree
That's
with
right.
this because yeah, we cannot convince anyone if they did not believe it, I think.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
so let back to the Philippines. In Philippines, how often does the teachers in university student in the university and the school use technology in the classroom?
I think during the pandemic,
Mhm.
because we were on lockdown for 3 years, we were the
Yes, yes,
longest. So we really did not have any choice but to, teach online. So it's the usual video conferencing facilities. Some would use Kahoots,
yes,
Kahoot or other tools to ensure that there's student engagement. We would create breakout rooms for students during sessions, for example, just to make sure that there's interaction among them during class sessions. Some would create Discord channels. I'm from computer science, so a lot of my students are gamers, and so they're always on the Discord servers because those are for gamers. And so they created their own channel so that that became an environment for them. What was challenging for us was how to do assessments, exams. How do we know that students are not cheating? How do we catch it when somebody is cheating, And sometimes multiple choice questions are not sufficient to assess um, the skill to analyze, for example, right? So it's sometimes difficult to create questions like that too.
Mhm.
So we would resort to projects, but then again, when you do projects, how do you know which one did what? So it's very challenging for us to have to do it.
Yes. Yeah, I have the same situation with you. After COVID-19, the student quite familiar to use the virtual meeting or virtual online platform.
Mhm.
Because we use the virtual meeting and e-learning classroom during
Yes.
COVID-19, right? And uh, after that, they seem like they like they like to use the virtual platforms. It's like when we have a lecture class in the university, right? The my student always request that, okay, Ajahn, please give some lecture by online first, and then
Ah,
we can do some practice in the class. Oh, I think it's good. We can use the flip classroom
flip classroom.
free, right? Because they like to join the lecture class in anywhere. Like they didn't like to join the lecture or listen to the talk in the university. They like to join by online or virtual meeting by Zoom or WebEx, something like this. So once so I think it's good idea if we can set up like a we have the lecture class in the out of class by virtual meeting, and after that we do practice we do some activity in the classroom by teaching like by ask them holding knowledge from out of class into the in class activity. I think okay, it's a good idea. Like the right in for students nowadays. They like to join like a Zoom or WebEx or virtual
Yes.
meeting before the class. Even we have some activity, but the activity they can interact with online, like a digital features. They try to ask me like okay, John, please demo some activity by virtual meeting, because they can record and they will repeat it
Yes.
again and again, because
Right.
the thing like once they repeat it, they can be the master learning
Right.
learner.
Yes. That's also the same comment from my students because
Yes,
we're doing hybrid this term. So one session online, the other one is face to face. And they said, we want the recordings because it's helpful to learn when
yes,
we watch again. So
yeah,
that's what they said.
yeah, because I think the post-COVID or post-pandemic, yeah, the student and my college more often to use the digital platform or virtual online learning, and we think, okay, what about the appropriate pedagogy that can be used? So this is still the how to say the active research
Yeah.
in Thailand as well. I think.
Right, right. I think it's because you have a different kinds of students already.
Yes. Okay. Mhm. Okay. I think there is no more questions from the forums. Okay, I'd like to thank you very much for Professor Merlin for your talk today. So we can see a lot of digital transformations, especially in our higher education right now. So you see a lot of what about the challenge, and what about the pedagogy or teaching and learning process that we can use with the digital tools nowadays. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank
For
you.
audience, please give us some feedback by scanning QR code on your left-hand side on the screen. Thank you very much for joining with us today. Thank you very much, Professor Merlin. Hope to see you personally. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank
Thank you so
you.
much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And thank you all of our attendees to join in this webinar. Wish to see you all on the next APSCE webinar. Bye-bye.
Bye.